Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from alexmercedcoder.com, and what I'm going to do today is just make over the next few videos is create a mini full stack application using MercedUI and Express, just to kind of show you how you could use MercedUI and build out an application. So first things first, we're going to set up our project. So I'm going to create a new folder. Where should I make it? Well, we'll just do it here. New folder. MUI and Express. Okay. And in this folder, well, actually, we'll just cd into that folder. So cd MUI Express. And then we need to start a new npm. Well, first I'll create a touch server.js. Then we will create an npm project. So npm init-y. So it skips all the questions. And then let me install the things that I need to install. So I want to install npm I want express, I want .env, so I can have, well, I'm not going to use environmental variables, so I don't need that right now. Nodemon, that should be good for now. Actually, I'll bring in the MercedUtils library, so I have that available to me. That's my other library with like a lot of useful array functions and whatnot that maybe we'll make use of. We'll see. Okay, and we'll let that get all installed. Okay, now while that installs, let's set up our basic folder structure in here. New folder, we're gonna need a public folder. New folder. Oh, why won't it let me create a folder? There we go. Public. Okay, that should be good. We don't need to do the whole like MVC thing. You're not gonna be connecting a database. If you want to know how to connect Mongo or Postgres, watch my videos on Nex or on Mongoose. Okay. Looks like that's gonna take a while, so I'm gonna pause this while that finishes installing. I think I got stuck recording because I forgot that this is going to be the way to get to the MercedUtils library. Oh, and also because the internet was disconnected. That'd probably be a good reason why I didn't install. But this is also supposed to be at alexmerced/MercedUtils. Let me just double check that. That's I have over here package JSON MercedUtils. Yes, that should do that. Cool. Install that stuff. Oh, why is it? MercedUtils not found. Okie dokie, I guess I'll just look up the MercedUtils library real quick. I forgot how to install my own library. Open a new tab. Merced. I think actually under here it's under called JSU utilities. Oh, I'm sure if I just like type in MercedUtils, it'll show up too. Okay, it's just one of those days. Okay, let's go to my profile. Here we go. MercedUtils, where is the again? Oh, okay, it is the MercedUtils. Okay, cool. npmi MercedUtils. Okay, we'll let that install. Okie dokie. There we go. So that's all installed. And from there, okay, let's see here. Actually, let's go set up our node. So that, okay, got it. That's right, because I have two versions of this library. This one and better types. Better types is where I have to use the @AlexMerced. This one actually adds all those functions to the array prototype. So let's do that. Let's set up our server.js. So we'll first copy in here the boilerplate for MercedUtil. So I have those utilities available to me in case I want to use them. And let's see here. Also, we need to bring in Express. So let me just do that at the very top line. So const express equals require express. And then we're going to say const app equals express. Cool. Okay, I need to make sure that we have the public folder. So app.use. And I think here we're supposed to be doing like public, but alas, memory escapes me. So let's double check that. Okay, app.use, there we go, express.static. Okay, express.static. And again, we'll be using the public folder. Good. Save. Okay, and then basically what we're going to do is we're just going to have a real quick... Whoa, what happened there? Okay, basically a very basic API that's just going to add and subtract stuff from an array. So we're just going to say, hey, here's our array of items. So my R equals an empty array. And we're going to just create an array that can add and subtract things from that array. So we'll just create one route, app.get equals, oh no, app.get. I am out of it today. Okay, app.get, then we do our callback rec. Nope, not yet. I have to actually put what the endpoint is. So this is just going to be /data. Okay, so we want to get the data. It'll be app.get data, and then we put it in our callback rec res. Okay, and then basically what this will do is we're going to take the body rec.body. Actually, we're going to just push the body into the array. My r dot push rec.body. Okay, and that works for me. And then we'll just do a res.json of my R. So we just send back the array. Oh, and this is the get, so we're just sending back the array. So let me cut that out. Okay, cool. So that's literally just going to grab the array in its current state. Then we're going to have app.post, so we can add stuff to the array. And again, that's going to be /data. Actually, I could just copy this. /data, and then again, we can do that my r dot push okay, my r dot push rec dot body. Cool. Okay, so my r dot push rec body. We want to make sure we interpret the body as JSON data. So I need to make sure I put app.use here because we're going to be doing basically sending the data over as JSON. So I need to make sure that express.json is done so that way we interpret the body and then it'll go look for the file. Okay, that should do what I wanted to do. My r.push the request body into there, and then res.json my r, and just respond with the current state of the array. Okay, save. That's it far as the actual Express server, and we're going to actually serve the whole website from the front end because we're going to use MercedUI, which is essentially a front end library. It's essentially, instead of using React or Vue, we'll use MercedUI. So we're just going to create a index.html, so new file in the public folder. Index.html. Then we'll also create a new file, app.js. Okay, and then we'll leave it at that for now. I'll do my HTML boilerplate. Save. Okay, let me go to the documentation. Grab the URL. Okay, so here is the URL for CDN purposes. Okay, so then we just put that in a script tag. Script source. Let me add the defer keyword. And then we need to bring in our thing, script source. That's app.js. Okay, save. Okay. And basically we're going to have a div where we show data. So div ID equals data. This is where we'll display the results that we get from our API. And then we're gonna have a form where you can submit stuff. So div, so this will be a form. But there'll only be one form, so I don't need an ID. And the form will have an input, which is type text. Okay, and then that will have a name of data. Okay. And then we'll close the form there. I usually like to keep my submit buttons as a button tag outside. Then we don't have to worry about doing like a prevent default. Button submit / button. We'll come back to the function to submit it in a second. Okay, save. Cool. What did we do wrong here? Void elements do not have end tags input. Okay, so yeah, we just need that. Save. Good. Okay. So first things first, I want to create our display. Okay, so we need to create a component that's going to basically show up and show our data there. Okay, so how do we make a component? We're going to use make live component is the function, and in that function we have to pass in the name of the component. So we're going to say name. You have to put a well, first we have to do a prefix sample, and then here we have to do a name for the component to do. So we're just going to basically build a little full stack to-do list. Okay, and what I want here is the template. Oh, actually the builder, because I'm using make live component, so it's going to render a template. Okay, and basically I'll just pass in the function here. So the function is going to take in the store. The store, think of it as like the state object in React. Okay, store, and then I need a comment here, just the colors are messing with me. And essentially what it's going to do is we are going to take the store dot data. So we're going to take that data property that, yeah, we're going to store the data in the data property. Store dot data. No, I'm not going to use it that way. We're just going to say return map to string. So basically we'll be able to map, it's going to create our template string by iterating over the array. The array is, it's going to be store.data, because when we create the store, it'll have a property called data. Okay, so actually let me just add that while we're here. So store is going to be an object that has a property called data. That's an empty array. Okay, and then yeah, you have to pass it as a string. So initially you're passing the object as a string like that. Okay, and then afterwards you don't have to do that when you update it. Okay, map to string. You could also, another way you could do this to make it even simpler is you could just do stringify and then just put in there data dot data empty array, and that should work fine as well. Point as long as it's passed in as a string. So map to string, store data is the array, and then we have to pass in our map function that's gonna map each item. So value, which is the value of each item in the array. Then we do our normal callback. So this is trying to turn into callback hell. Okay, map to string. And basically for each one, it's going to return an li. Oh, we have to do that as a string. An li with the value in it. Cool. Okay, that's what map to string will bring. So in that case, actually, I don't want to return just that. Okay, so we're going to do const my li equals map to string. So this way, the string with all the li's will be in here. Because what map to string is going to do is just going to iterate and create a string of all the li's for every item in the array. But what I want to do is return a ul. Okay. A ul with the li's interpolated into it /ul. Cool. Safe. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now if I wanted to make a call when the component is mounted, then I will go in here to connect it, and then I'm allowed to add code here. Just add a comma over here. Connected, and connected we're going to pass in a string, because again, you pass everything as a string. Essentially what it's doing, it's going to take all these strings that you're passing in and construct the component behind the scenes, so that way you can just plop it in your HTML. So connected, what I want to do is we're going to use the built-in API call thing, so MUI request. Okay, and then we're going to be making a GET request to /data. Let me just make sure that that's what I called it. /data, good. Just make sure it's lowercase. To /data, and that's going to be that has to be in quotation marks. Okay. To /data. Then what I want to do is run this update store. That's referring to the instance of this component. It's going to update the store, which is the store object, and then the new store object. Okay, this has to be a callback, so I need to be like response. Okay, put this in curly brackets. Okay, so this update store. And then we have the new store object, which is going to still again be an object with a property called data, except now the data is going to equal the response. Okay, which the response should just be the array because that's the way we kind of designed it. Okay, save. Okay. And then in that case, we should probably start the array with at least a sample piece of data. So, okay, we're going to say the first piece is example. Okay, save. Okay, so basically connected triggers what's called the connected callback in a native web component. So these are components that are built into the web component API that's built into JavaScript. So essentially what I'm doing is MUI request is just a standard fetch request. It's literally fetch request. It just skips that whole having to do like response.json. Like if you've done a fetch request, you know you have to do like those 2 steps. You get the response, then you have to turn the response to the JSON, and then you take the JSON, then you do another .then. It just kind of skips that step. So in that case, I get the response back. We're going to update the store, which will then re-render the template with the new data. Cool. Okay, so that component should, for the most part, be done. We just need to plop that into our index.html. And again, the name is sample to do. So we would just put that right over here. Sample to do, because it's always the prefix and the name. Because web components in the standard browser API have to have a dash in them, so they have to have this sort of this prefix and suffix. It's just the way they made it to avoid collisions with existing HTML tags. So save. And there we go. Okay, so let's run the server. Okay, so let's do Nodamon. Well, if I run Nodamon, it should just do what I need it to do. Oh, express.state is not a function. Oh, where did I mess that up? Back to server. Express.static. Oof. You can tell it's late on a Sunday afternoon. Okay. Save. And we exit. Let's hit save. Okay, so something else that's not. Oh, I never actually did the server. Ugh. App.listen on port 3000. Okay. Console.log. Listening on port 3000. Save. Cool. Okay, so save. That's running. So let's go over here and head over to localhost 3000. Okay, and let's see here. So we have the form there, and then we have this random caret here. So let's inspect. Let's see what's going. Where's that coming from? Make live component is not defined. Well, let's, oh wait, did I not? We'll come back to that. Okay, let's go back to my index.js that I bring in. Yes. And then I brought, there's this. Oh, I didn't put a defer on this. That's why. So this is running before the actual library gets brought in. Okay, let's rerun that. Okie dokie. So that looks a lot better. But we still got this over here. So let's see where that's coming from. Do I have an extra caret somewhere? Button and wait, is the button there? Yeah, the button's there. There's a sample to do. It's in there, but this pre thing, I'm not sure where that's coming from at the moment. Okay, we'll probably discover it along the way. And our component, did it make the API call? Let's take a look. Network. Okay. Here's our was a request. So we can get 200. Remote policy response. What did we get in the response? Where's the body of the response? Submit. Was this just the original response? Okay, here we go. Response, make live. Let's go back and examine this. Builder, we have the builder function, stringify, that should be all fine. I'm not seeing any errors in the console. Oh wait, here we go. Stringify is not defined. There's why it's not rendering. So let's go take a look, do a quick lookup on that, stringify. So I think it's supposed to be JSON.stringify, if I remember right. Well, let's just double check. Stringify. Yep. Okie dokie. Let's go back and fix that. Save. Okie dokie. So let's go back to the website and refresh. Notice this .update store is not a function. Oh, yep, I know what happened there. Okay, yeah, this needs to be this.life. This is what happens when I don't read the documentation before I did everything. This.life. So that should fix that. And there we go. So we see our example. Still not sure where this pre is coming from. This pre element is. Let's examine our code. It's coming from somewhere. Well, not from there. HTML, body, submit, form, sample to do. Oh, there is a random caret over here, so that could be contributing to it. So let's save. Does that fix the problem? Yes. End code. It makes the API call. Cool. So we got it. We made a component that will make an AJAX request upon mounting it, pull from our API, and populate the DOM. Okay. Now what we want is to be able to submit data with this form and then update our element. Okay, so what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to give this element in my HTML an ID. So we're going to give sample to do an ID of display. Okay, save. Okay, so let's do const my display equals document dot get element by ID, which will equal display. And then I also want to grab the form, const form equals document dot query selector form. Okay, so now the form will be in there. Good. Okay, so I have those variables in there for this next part. Cool. So what I want to do is create a new instance of form tool. Actually, the way I should have done this is this. I will go new form tool. And I have to pass in the constructor, which should be this. Okay, so what this does is that it's going to create this object that will allow me to grab the data from the form and allow me to clear the form. Okay, so that makes life a lot easier. I don't have to sit there and do all this other setup with the form, no matter how many fields it has. So now I just need to create a function that updates things. So const submit equals const submit doesn't really take any parameters. Basically what this is going to do is first thing it's going to do is going to make a request. So MUI request. Okay, again the URL we're sending it to is /data. except now we are going to do a method. Is going to be post. Just double check here, make sure I set it up as a post. App.get. Nope, I forgot to make this post. Post. Okay, so make that a post. And we'll just put body, JSON dot stringify, and then we're going to grab the form data, which would be form dot grab. I gotta look at the docs. I made the library and I still gotta go look at the docs. So let's see here, form tool, here it is. And I want to use grab values. Grab values, and that's basically going to send out, that creates an object with the form's values that gets then turned into a string, be sent as the form body. Good. So that is all good. When that is complete, we'll do our dot then with our response. Okay, which our response should be the new version of the array with the new data. So first thing we want to do is clear out the form. So I'm going to clear out the form. So form dot clear. That's clear form. Is the function name. Clear form. That will clear out the form. And then I want to update our element. So since I have that element saved in this display variable, it's display.life.updateStore is the function. Okay, because it's a live component. And what makes it alive is that it has that updatable, has that sort of reactive data component called store. So whenever I want to update the store, I have to do this .life.updateStore. And the reason is because there's an, technically you have the component, but I have this class called the site builder inside of it. So I had to store the site builder in that property called life. And that site builder actually has all these sort of reactive aspects to it. Okay, so display.life.updateStore. Then we pass in the new version of the object. But again, it has to have a property called data because that's how we built our template builder, our builder function over here. So it's looking for that data property. But that data property is going to equal the response now. Okay, because we're getting that array back from the response. And we should be just about done. Okay, and let's go back and take a look. So I got that. Then I just put in some gibberish. I hit submit. And something goes wrong. So let's take a look. Oh, I never connected the function to the button. Oy. So what's the name of the function again? It's just submit, right? Yep. So go back to our HTML. Go to the button. On click equals submit. Okay. And that should handle it. Sorry for all the sirens in the background. I live in like the noisiest part of Brooklyn. Let's see here. We save that. And let's refresh. Makes the call. Populates the DOM. I do this. Oh. That's not what I wanted it to do. So let's examine why it's doing that. Okay. So there's two reasons why that might not be working exactly the way I think it's going to. Okay, so first what I'm going to want to do is on my server.js, I'm going to want to console log the rec body. Console.log rec.body. I want to make sure that first, what are we pushing into the array? And then two, are we getting that, actually getting that back? So I'm going to console log the response. So let's refresh. Okay. I hit submit. Okay, so let's see here. Our first one. Example with the second one is a object. and that is from the app.js. So what we didn't hit, so that means the interesting. Let me think about that. Oh, here we go. Here's the other console log. We got an empty object. Okay, so that means we're not actually sending the data successfully. So the route's working. It's my request that's the problem. Doot. I'm probably gonna have to add a couple little more fields to my object, but I will, because it is hitting the right route. So that means this part and this part is fine. This part is where we're running into a problem. So let's see here. Oh, I think I know why. Let me think about that for a second. Form values, rec.body. Oh wait, let's see here. I'm pushing in the whole object. I don't want to push in the whole object. Even though I'm still getting an empty rec body, that's still a concern. Okay, but wait. Because I'm only pushing in the value, which should be the form data. Let's go back to app.js. Form.grab val. Oh, I never invoked the function. I always forget to do that. Okay, let's refresh. It's still not quite what I wanted to do. Let's see here. Object. And here's still an empty object. Okay, so let's do another thing. Let's console log. Make sure that we're grabbing the form, but the grab values is working fine. Grab form.grab values. Save. Refresh. Form.grab values is not a function. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Grab values. Console is not a function. Oh. Console.log. I am slipping today. Okay, so yeah, no, it's grabbing the values fine, so that's working fine. Okay, so that's good. So here's what I'm going to do instead. Body. JSON.stringify. I think I'll just do a quick lookup on just doing a fetch request for the post. Okay, so I figured it out. I need to put this header here. So since I'm using specifically JSON data, I need to specify that I'm sending JSON data so it knows to do that. So I didn't include the right header so it wasn't parsing the body. You know, if it was a form, then it would say like URL encoded or whatever. Okay, so that is working, but my next problem is that what's pushing is this object into the array. So then I get this. There's an object in my array. I don't want that. So I have to go back and examine my server code. And instead of pushing rec.body, what we're going to do is we're going to push rec.body.data into the array. Save. And now let's refresh. And now it works. Okay, but see, it's basically the library was working fine. It was just a lot of my own little mistakes. But the idea is, see how quickly I set that up? Now it's just a matter of styling. And you know, if I wanted to style it, basically all I would do, if I want to style that, I could just style it from there. You know, and then you could just, I can explain what I meant by just style it from there. I'm looking at the wrong file. Okay, when I make my component up here, I could just add a style tag. Probably the easiest thing to do would be to just create a separate variable, const style equals, and then you just do a style tag with all your styles. Okay, and then we'll just say style style UL, or we'll just say style LI. We'll say color is pink as an example, and then I'll close the style tag, and then I would, at my final piece here, I would just interpolate that style tag. So interpret style. There we go. So basically it's style, then the UL with the LIs in between, and then there's the template that the builder renders. Save. And let's refresh so you can see it work. And see, it turned it to pink. So you can pretty much do everything, but notice all I had to do was do one little CDN, and the cool thing is, I can use plain vanilla DOM manipulation to actually go back and edit this. Like if I wanted to get to that edit this display, I can just do display dot shadow root, because it has a shadow. All of them have a shadow DOM, and then from there I can go just access all the individual DOM elements through normal JavaScript means. So I can do query selector, get element by ID. So I can you no longer have complete encapsulation with React like you do with like React and some of the others, where basically once your component's kind of built out, stuff can go in but it can't come out. It goes two ways, but you still have the ability to make your HTML tags, and they don't have to be in a template. You can just plop them right into your HTML like we did here. Okay, and then there's some other cool tools like get props. I think it's actually called capture props, but you can read the documentation. There's all sorts of different really useful functions for building an app. But see here, we built a full stack application. You know, now it's just a matter of styling and making it pretty. But I did it pretty quick. This was overall 40 minutes, and if it wasn't for me being a little off today, it would have been a lot quicker. So yeah, that's the power of the MercedUI library. And again, all it takes is just putting in this little line right here, the script tag, and the library itself is only about 7 kilobytes versus, you know, the lowest alternative, like basically React is like almost 100 or a little over 100 kilobytes when you take the React DOM library and the React library itself. Then there's like a minier version called Preact that someone made, and that's still like 16 kilobytes. This 7 kilobytes, so you have a lot of sort of reactive ability. So again, I didn't have to sit there and do a whole bunch of DOM manipulation. I just connected my form to this. I'm able to grab the data, clear out the form pretty easily by making my component and using the update store. Every time I update the data, it just automatically updates the component. Yeah, and then again, all I have to do is just pass in a function that builds a template. And then I have a component that I can just plop into. Again, I can do stuff that happens. So basically, think of it as like your on-mount lifecycle function. I just pass in some code here, and whatever code I pass in under connected happens when the component mounts. And then if I had any other code I wanted to add, I could have just, there's a section called other, and here in other you could pass a string that literally you can add methods. So if you want to add functions that are part of your component, like if you want to create like a toggle function, toggle the component on and off, you could do that, or whatever you can imagine. You could also inject there the other lifecycle functions, because again, this is using the standard Web Components API. That's kind of part of the reason why it is able to be so small, because I don't have to design how Web Components work. I'm using the way components already are designed to work in the browser, just making it a little easier. You have less boilerplate you have to do. But if you wanted to use things like disconnected callback, change attribute callback, adopted callback, you would just pass them into the other section. So you can create a lot of flexibility in your components. Use them as HTML tags, which is nice, right there in your standard HTML and your HTML files. And then you get some other tools like the form tool that makes it really easy to work with the forms. Okay, so literally like just 2 lines of code right here. I just cleared the form after we did our API request, and then I just can send the data back to my component, and it re-rendered, and the form was clear. Really easy peasy. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. My name is Alex Merced from AlexMercedCoder.com, the creator of the MercedUI library. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys try it. I hope you guys use it. And if you do anything really cool with it, please do send me a video of you doing cool stuff with it, or links to the cool stuff you make with it. I will share it. Have a great day and enjoy.